At 8:15 a.m. on the 6th of August 1945, a US B-29 bomber, Enola Gay, dropped the first atomic bomb on Hiroshima, decimating 5 square miles of the city and killing over 100,000 people instantly. 19-year-old Shinji Mikamo was on the roof of his family home less than a mile away from the epicenter. His chronically unwell mother had relocated to live with her aunt in the countryside, and his older brother was deployed with the military in the Philippines, leaving just Shinji and his father in their family home. The Japanese government had issued a demolition order to prevent the spread of fire in the instant that bombs were dropped, and the Mikamo's home was in this demolition zone. He and his father were working on demolishing their house when, from his position on the roof, Shinji was faced with a bright flash and the terror of a giant fireball heading his way. Within seconds, he felt searing pain enveloping his body, and he found himself buried under heaps of rubble and debris. Only able to see through one eye and pinned down by the remnants of his home, Shinji questioned whether he was still alive until he heard his father shouting his name. Somehow he managed to unearth his son from the collapsed house and assess his injuries. Burns covered his body and his skin hung off him in tatters. This book, The Hiroshima Boy, follows his and his father's harrowing journey through the city to find medical help, their separation, and Shinji's long and painful recovery. This is one of the most harrowing books I have ever read. Narrated to his daughter, this tells the story of the absolutely horrific aftermath of the bomb, the truly awful things that Shinji saw and experienced, and the descriptions of not only his own wounds, but the injuries and wounds of the people he encountered were so vivid and so heartbreaking. But even that doesn't truly convey the awful, awful, terrible things that he went through. The narration's really factual. It almost feels as though he's kind of detached himself from the experience and is telling us from an outside perspective, which just made the whole story even more distressing and traumatic. It's almost like he can't bear to relive it as himself. Don't think it's really appropriate to put a star rating on somebody's life story, but I can recommend you read this book. It's very well written, very interesting to read about such a terrible time in history.